Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more of some roster theory crafting. This is something we're going to be doing a heck of a lot of here on this channel. Obviously the majority of my channel, the majority of my audience, viewership, everything has been built up around roster rumors, roster moves, and roster theory crafting. So while I love covering all things League of Legends esports and just talking about all the different stories and the drama and the big news, that's super fun. Mostly what we're here for is getting ready for this big offseason. So it goes, roster theory crafting for a couple months till maybe like late September, early October. Then we're going to be getting hard into rumors and what some people behind the scenes are saying. And then hopefully November, December, we'll be getting into the big actual news, actual roster moves. So this is just the natural progression of things. This is how we've been doing it over the past couple of years. It's been going pretty well. It's been pretty fun. And I really love this part of the year, and I hope that you guys do as well. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Fnatic mid lane situation. I really think, and a lot of people think, that this is going to be a rather big story in this coming offseason. Because Humanoid was a big pickup for Fnatic, but Fnatic is not doing so hot as of late. Maybe you guys have heard. We can pull up the LEC standings real quick. I do believe Fnatic is 1-5 in their last 6 games. That one win coming over Team BDS, who you can see here is 1-12. Might be the worst LEC team of all time. I don't know. They're playing really historically bad right now. This Team BDS team is rough. And Fnatic, again, they are 6-7. Their one win in their last 6 games is against BDS. They're not beating anybody right now. Hey, there's still 5 games to play. They could still turn things around because on paper they are still a very talented team. Their players are very individually talented. But right now, Fnatic is on the outside looking in of the playoffs. And mid lane for Fnatic has been a weird position over the past couple years. They pretty much change their mid laner every year for one reason or another. Nemesis to Niski, now to Humanoid. And the results have been getting worse and worse. With Nemesis, they're at the quarterfinals at Worlds, 1 game away from semifinals. With Niski, they didn't get out of groups at Worlds last year, and now with Humanoid, it seems like they might not even be getting to Worlds. It seems like they might not be even getting to playoffs. So I don't know exactly what Fnatic's going to do in the offseason. I don't know if they're going to change top, if they're going to change jungle, or they're going to change mid. You assume the bot lane staying the same as long as Hillsang doesn't want to retire. There's nothing crazy going on or anything like that, but top, jungle, and mid, it seems like could all be pretty changeable or pretty replaceable, or maybe even want to leave and go somewhere else, because I'm sure, the org isn't happy about missing the playoffs, but the players aren't going to be happy about missing the playoffs either. So there has been some talks about whether or not Humanoid will leave, and I put up a poll on my YouTube channel. I put up a poll and I said, hey, who would you like to see as the Fnatic mid laner for 2023? And you guys responded, 2,500 votes. I thought this was pretty cool. Sometimes we get like 5,000 to 6,000 votes on polls, which is crazy, but this one did okay, 2,500 votes. And I said, who do you want to see as a Fnatic mid laner for 2023? I said Humanoid, Baka, Nemesis, VTO, somebody else. I think Perks would have been a fine person to put on this list as well. I've actually already made a Fnatic Perks video talking about how Fnatic could how Perks could potentially end up on Fnatic for 2023. I still think that is a very possible option, but I thought these options were maybe more realistic or more interesting. I don't know how realistic Nemesis is, but as you can see, the number 1 choice for the Fnatic mid laner for 2023 was actually VTO. And if you look here on the global contract database, you will see Misfits Gaming VTO mid lane. His contract ends November 21st, 2022. But the interesting thing here is that Misfits obviously sold their slot. So that means 2 things. 1, VTO's not going to be re-signing with Misfits. Obviously, they aren't even going to be a team. They're going to be gone. Yes, Team Heretics is coming in, but we don't know what they're going to be doing. We don't know how big they're going to be spending, how aggressive they're going to be, what kind of lineup they're going to be looking to make. Yes, obviously, they have a lot of money, considering they just spent 30 to 40 to 50 million on an LEC slot. But at the same time, you can look at BDS, who spent $32 million on an LEC slot last year, meaning that they obviously have money, but they came into the LEC and they didn't spend much of anything. They went and got grabs, and then they didn't really get anything else. They didn't really spend any other money on their team, and the results kind of show that they didn't really spend any money on their team. So just because Heretics bought a very expensive LEC slot, that doesn't mean they're going to come in and be big spenders. That doesn't mean they're going to offer some huge contract to VTO. And even if they did, would he necessarily accept it or not? I don't know. We have heard, I do believe, this is what I read on like Twitter, Reddit, somewhere from somebody closely involved in the situation, was that all the Misfits players are going to become free agents at the end of the year. The contracts are not going to be carrying over to Team Heretics, is what it sounds like. So that does mean, even though, like Neon is signed till 2023, Merce is signed till 2024, it sounds like all those guys are going to be free agents, and that Heretics can pursue them in free agency if they want. That's what it sounds like to me, at least. I don't think any of these contracts are going to be rolling over. I think they've just bought the slot. I don't think they've bought the contracts from the org or anything like that. So even if VTO's contract wasn't expiring, it's very, very possible that he could still be hitting free agency. But again, he is a free agent. It does seem like he's going to be available. Also, when you take a look at the LEC standings, Misfits, they had a really, really rough start to the year. They were looking like spring might have been a fluke, that they maybe weren't actually that good, but all of a sudden they're 7-6. They're a game behind Vitality. They're a game behind Rogue. Yes, they're 3 games behind Mad Lions, but Mad Lions have been pretty dominant in the split. They're just a game behind some of these teams. They have the same record as G2. They have the same record as Excel. And this is after having a disastrous start. And this is after also not having all that great of a team on paper. And they are really being led by VTO. Obviously, they have Zanzara coming in, and he had a pretty good first week. I do think Neon has actually been a really, really stable secondary carry for this team as well. But this team is mostly about VTO. VTO is the MVP in the spring. He's doing really well. Again, not at the beginning of the split, but since then he's been coming on pretty well in the second half of the split. And if you just look at the Misfits lineup and the Fnatic lineup on paper, Misfits has been able to do more with less, and Fnatic has been able to do way, way, way less with more. So this is why all of a sudden a lot of people are saying, hey, if we could get a young, exciting, growing, somewhat inexperienced mid laner like VTO who can really grow into his own, this is a guy who could be the face of our franchise for years to come, that could be awesome. And I know a lot of Fnatic fans say, Humanoid seems uninterested, Humanoid seems unmotivated, he doesn't really do anything in the early game, and you got to be careful because VTO doesn't do a whole lot in the early game. Either VTO's lane phase is definitely the weakest part of his game. He's another guy who really loves to scale up and, get to 2 to 3 items and then start to carry games, start to really take over. So I fear that VTO might have the same playstyle that some Fnatic fans don't like, but I don't think many people are saying VTO is unmotivated, that he doesn't care, that he's not busting his ass to get better and better and better. In some ways he might be similar to Humanoid, but a better fit overall. Now, again, this is also going to depend on what Fnatic decides to do for the rest of their roster, if it is a guy that, or if it is a lineup that VTO is going to fit into well or not. But I do think VTO is going to be one of the biggest free agents in the entire League of Legends, especially in the West, in the Western League of Legends scene this offseason. Again, a guy who won an MVP in the spring. There's going to be another MVP in the spring who's a free agent as well in Summit. But yeah, VTO is going to be a hot commodity. There's going to be some teams that are pretty set in mid lane. Obviously, a lot of good teams have good mid laners already, so that's going to narrow down his options a little bit. It's been rumored that VTO is a guy who doesn't want to go to North America. I don't know if that's true or not, but if he doesn't want to go to North America and he wants to stay in Europe, there's going to be a couple options for him. Excel, if Nuke Duck isn't cutting it, or if they want to move on from Nuke Duck, if they think VTO is an upgrade over him, VTO Excel could be very, very realistic, but I think Fnatic VTO could also be a very, very realistic move that could be a great fit for VTO. He gets paid, he gets a raise, he gets to go to a bigger org, a bigger team, gets to grow his fan base, gets to go to a team that's hopefully going to be more successful. Obviously, Fnatic has, going to compete for titles, going to go to Worlds, going to do more stuff internationally than Misfits and everything, and Misfits isn't going to exist anymore, so it's going to be Heretics. But overall, I think this could be a great fit for VTO, a great fit for Fnatic. If Fnatic does falter again, it's possible they miss playoffs, it's possible they miss Worlds. If they do end up going on some crazy run, going to Worlds, figuring everything out, maybe Humanoid stays. But if things go how they've been going for Fnatic, it's very, very possible that Humanoid could want to leave, or Fnatic could want to get rid of Humanoid. And maybe VTO could be coming in. I think that could be a really, really exciting pickup. And it would give Fnatic a ton of options for 2023, because I think some people would want to come play with him as well. Obviously, he's a guy who is going to want a lot of resources, so you're going to have to be careful. Maybe a weak side top laner or a facilitative style top laner, jungler, something like that. But overall, again, he's going to be one of the biggest and best talents available in this coming offseason. And it's very, very possible that Fnatic could have a need in the mid lane. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.